So dear students, the next concept the next crucial concept that you are expected to know is to find the area of a triangle in different situations. So what do you mean by different situation? So there are, see, area of a triangle can be found out if you have different sets of information. So here are certain situations, so which are created based on which you are expected to find the area of a triangle. So when can somebody find out the area of the triangle? So what has to be known in order that one can find the area of the triangle? So one can find area of the triangle if base and height is given. So if the value of base and height is known, then you should use this formula. You must be using this formula since your school days. Area is equal to half into base into height. So this is situation 1. So when are you going to use this formula? Of course, when base and height is given, because the formula itself says area is equal to half into base into height. So unless you know base and height, how are you going to use this formula? So next scenario is, if you already know the sides, if you already know the magnitude of the three sides, then you have another formula known as Heron's formula. So that is situation 2. If you don't know the base, you don't know the height, but you know the value of all the three sides of the triangle, then you can use this formula to reach at the area of the triangle. So this is known as Heron's formula. So it is area is equal to under root of s into s minus a into s minus b into s minus c, where s is semi perimeter. So semi perimeter means half of the perimeter of the triangle. So this was situation 2. The third situation commonly used to frame question is when two sides is known and the included angle is known. So two sides will be given and it will be given that the included angle is so and so degrees. Then you must resort to using this formula. You should then use what? This formula. So area is given as half AB into sine C. Now please understand what is A, what is B, what is sine C. So if in a triangle, three sides are mentioned by A, B and C. So this is the included angle. So you would say that this angle is included between sides A and B, and the opposite angle, this angle is opposite to side C. So hence this angle is denoted by angle C. So angle C is included between sides A and B. Now next scenario used to frame questions from area of triangle is that a equilateral triangle would be mentioned. So now what's so special about the equilateral triangle? The speciality about the equilateral triangle is that you already have a formula for it. That means you have a ready-made formula. The moment you notice that the triangle is equilateral and you know the value of its side and you are asked to find the area, you must straight away use this. So this is what is meant by being familiar with different formulas and to be able to understand that which formula is to be used when. So which formula is to be used when depends on the question. So what facts are being provided in the question will help us make choice as to which formula to use when. So let's take a few examples and then things will become pretty clear. So this is the first example, and mind you, please do not skip any question. Please do not say that okay, I am very strong in so and so topic, so let me skip this, because we have put in great effort and the questions that we bring before you, the questions that we have included are actual questions taken from actual question paper. So please do not skip, please stick to the video, please just have a look at what kind of questions have been asked. Now look at this one. So sides of a triangle are 6, 10 and x. So for what value of x is the area of a triangle maximum? Now three sides, the third is in fact a variable. So this is given. So now, for what value of x is the area of triangle maximum? So now you see, area of a triangle is given by half AB sine theta. So here we have the value for two sides. So area of the triangle will be half into 6 into 10 into included angle, whatever angle is included between this. So this will be maximum, this thing will be maximum when sine theta is maximum, isn't it? Because this is constant part, this is constant part, this is the variable part. So that sine theta would depend on the value of theta. But the question is, what is the maximum possible area? So what is the maximum possible area? The maximum possible area is when sine theta would attain its maximum value. So sine theta attains its maximum value at what values of theta? So sine theta can have a maximum value equal to 1 when theta is equal to 90 degrees. So it is clearly understood that if two sides are given 6 and 10 and you expect the area to be maximized, then please keep this angle to be equal to 90 degree. So this is as simple as that. Two sides known, third side not known, and you want to maximize the area, then the included angle between those two known sides must be equal to 90 degrees, as you can see from this. So now the question is, what is the value of x? That means what is the value of third side? So now you can apply the Pythagoras theorem here in this triangle, because it is already understood that this is 90 degrees. So you can apply Pythagoras theorem and you can see that x comes out to be equal to under root of 6 square plus 10 square. So this is equal to what? 36 plus 100 under root of 136. So this is the correct answer. Now let's move to next one. Length of each side of an isosceles triangle is 10 centimeter and the included angle between these two sides is 45 degrees. So now can you make a judgment that which formula are you going to use? So before making a judgment, let us understand that what is known to us. It is known to us that the length of equal sides, so two sides, length of equal sides is 10 centimeters. So if this is 10, this is also 10, and the included angle, so this angle, included angle is 45 degrees. So which formula should we be using? We must be using this one, half AB sine theta. So let's do that. So in our case, area would be equal to half into A. So A is what? 10 centimeters into B. B is again 10 centimeters. Sine theta, so included angle. So theta here is what? 45 degrees. So sine 45 degrees. So what this comes out to be? Half into 10 into 10 into root 2, because sine 45 is equal to 1 by root 2. So this is what? 50 by root 2. So this can be written as 25 root 2. Now you see, whenever you have to divide by a root, so some people are confused. So what to do? Since we know that we have to divide it by root 2, so I can write 50 as 25 into root 2 into root 2, because root 2 into root 2 is 2. So final or ultimate answer is 25 root 2. Now let's move to the next one. If two sides of a triangle are 50 and 10 respectively, and the area of the triangle is 150, find the length of the third side. So let us see how you can solve this. So please understand a few things. See, this or a particular question, maybe a particular question can be solved in more than one ways, but we always bring before you the shortest possible way. So there are two different ways in in which this question can be solved. One way is you use the Heron's formula, because you already know the value for two sides. What was Heron's formula? So area was given by area is equal to under root of s into s minus a into s minus b into s minus c, where s is what? Semi perimeter. So this is one way. If you will take this way, you are bound to solve this. But the problem is it takes time. It takes time. Okay. So let's take a smarter approach, a easier approach. That's why I said that if a question is solvable in more than one ways, so we actually have noticed that which is the shorter way, and then we highlight before you that please do not use this method, better use this one. So I am bringing this before you very clearly, that in such cases please do not use Heron's formula, it takes time. So if we are not supposed to use Heron's formula, then what are we going to do? So let's see what should be the ideal approach for such questions. So let us draw a diagram first. So what is given to us? This is given to us that in a triangle, two sides. So this side 50 centimeters and this side 10 centimeter. It is known. The area of the triangle is also known. So we have to find the area of third side. So now please see very carefully. So area is given by half into base into height. So area is already given as 150. So 150 must be equal to half into base. Base is BC into height. Height is AD. So from here you can see that AD is easily computable. So you can easily compute AB. So BC is already given. So AD comes out to be equal to 6. So this thing is 6. Now if this is 6, now in triangle A, B, D, this angle is 90 degree. So you can apply Pythagoras theorem. So applying Pythagoras theorem, BD square. So BD square can be written as under root of 10 square minus 6 square. So 10 square minus 6 square. So this comes out to be equal to what? 8 square. Or BD comes out to be 8. So if you will solve this part is 8. So if this is 8, then this must be equal to what? This entire thing is 50. So this must be 42. So now we have to find the value of third side or side AC. So in triangle ADC, you can again apply the Pythagoras theorem and you can say that AC is equal to under root of 6 square plus 42 square, and this comes out to be equal to, or better still, you can make a smarter calculation here. So if you can realize that 42 square is also a factor of 6 square, so this can be written as what? So this is 6 square can be taken as common. So 1 square plus 7 square. So this is 6 root 50 can be further written as 30 root 2, because 50 25, so 5 will come out, so 30 root 2. So answer will be this. This will be 30 root 2. Now let us also use Heron's formula. You will realize that this actually takes more time. So let the third unknown side be equal to x. So first you find s or the semi perimeter in terms of x, or better still, you can use it 2x, the third side to be equal to 2x, because while finding semi perimeter you need to divide it by 2, so better do that. So now if I assume the third unknown side to be 2x, what will be the semi perimeter be equal to? So semi perimeter will be equal to 50 plus 10 plus 2x divided by 2. So this is what, 30 plus x. So now area, which is given to be 150, so 150 must be equal to, now you apply Heron's formula and see what happens. So x is equal to 30 plus x into s minus a. So 30 plus x minus 50 is equal to how much? This is x minus 20. Now s minus b, that means 30 plus x minus 10 comes out to be what? 20 plus x into s minus c. So this is s, this is c. So this is what? 30 minus x. So if you see properly, so 150 is equal to under root of, so this is a plus b, a minus b format. So under root of 900 minus x square whole into 400 minus x square. So then what to do? You can take x square equal to a and then you will get a quadratic equation. So you can see that you will get stuck if you take this approach. So the correct way to approach this pattern is by using Pythagoras theorem twice. Let's take another example. So Euclid has a triangle in mind. Its longest side has length 20 and another of its side has length 10. Its area is 80. So what is the exact length of its third side? So two side we already know, 20 and 10, and the area is also known, which is what, 80. So the correct method is we are going to use Pythagoras approach. So let's do that. So this side 10. So two side already known, 10 and 20. So let's apply Pythagoras theorem. So how can we do that? Area 80. So half into base is what, 20, into height h must be equal to 80. So from here first we will find the value of h. So value of h comes out to be equal to 8. So this is 8. So if this is 8, then in triangle CEB, you already know that h is equal to 8. So EB square can be calculated. So let's calculate EB first. So EB comes out to be under root of 10 square minus 8 square. So this is equal to 6. So EB, so this much is equal to 6. Out of 20, this portion is 6. That means this must be equal to 14. So now in triangle ACE, CE is equal to 8, AE is equal to 14. So AC is what? Applying Pythagoras theorem, AC will be equal to under root of 8 square plus 14 square, or else under root of 64 plus 14 square is what? 196. So this comes out to be under root of 260. So this option is the correct one. Now let's move further. The base of an isosceles triangle is 300 units and each of its equal sides is 170 units. Then the area of the triangle is, so let's understand what is given. The base of an isosceles triangle 300 and its equal sides, that means this side 170, this is 170. Now understand, so what is the unique property of isosceles triangle? Basically an isosceles triangle is this, what can you say, an isosceles triangle can be thought of being made of two identical right angles. See, this is a right angle triangle. If you add another such right angle triangle to this, this is what is the real essence of isosceles triangle. So this side is equal to this side. So you can think that an isosceles triangle is basically adding side by side of two right angle triangles. You can see this is first right angle triangle, this is second right angle triangle. So if you join, if see these are the two equal sides. So if you join this vertex with this midpoint, this will be 90 degree. So this angle will be 90 degree if this is the midpoint. Why? Because it is just like adding two right angle triangles. So if this is a midpoint, so midpoint means the entire line got divided into two equal halves. So 300 got divided into two line segments of 150 each. So now let's call this altitude, give it the value h. Now in this triangle, let me call it A, B, O. So in triangle A, B, O, you can apply Pythagoras theorem. You can say that AO is actually equal to under root of 170 whole square minus 150 whole square. So this comes out to be equal to how much? So AO is equal to, now see, A square minus B square. So A square minus B square is what? A plus B. So A plus B is what? 320 into A minus B. So A minus B is what? This much. So AO is equal to, so see, these are the small strategies that you can employ. If you are not able to solve this in one go, you can do this way. So 320 is what? 16 into 20 into 20. So if you will solve this root, it will come out to be 4 into 20 is equal to 80. So the altitude or the height of the bigger triangle comes out to be 80. So now we can find out the area of the complete triangle. Area is equal to half into base into height. So half into base. Base of the isosceles triangle 300. Height we have just found out 80. So 300 into 40, 12,000 square units. This is the correct answer. Now let's move to the next one. So what is the area of the triangle whose sides are 51 centimeter, 37 centimeter and 20 centimeter? So you can see all the three sides are given. And this is not a case of Pythagorean triplet, so this is not a right angle triangle either. So what can we do? We have to find out the area. So out of all the given formulas, so which formula should we be applying? All the three sides are given, concrete values are given. So you can use Heron's formula. So what does Heron's formula, what was the Heron's formula to find out the area of the triangle? So it was based on first finding out the semi-perimeter, because area itself can be found out once you find out the semi-perimeter. So this is the formula. So let's first find out the semi-perimeter. So sum of all the three sides divided by 2. So 51 plus 37 plus 20 divided by 2. So comes out to be 54. Let's apply Heron's formula. So under root of 54 into, so S minus A, so 54 minus 51, so 3, S minus B, so 54 minus 37, so 17 into S minus C, so C is what? 20, so 54 minus 20, so 34. Now please understand, these are some simple strategies. So you have to find out the square root of this number. Some students simply multiply these numbers and then they find the square root. So that is a waste of time. Since you are interested in square root, so it is a God sent opportunity. It is a good opportunity that the numbers are already somewhat factorized. So please do not waste your time by multiplying them again. So just break them further. So 54, 17, 34. So 34 is also a factor of 17. So these are numbers just given to make things easier for you. How? Please understand. So 54, so this can be written as 54, you can break down as 3 because you need pairing to be done. So 3 into 18 into 3, so that pairs can be created. We have a 3 already, so one 3 can be generated from 54. So I wrote 54 as 3 into 18 because my intention was to create pairs, because I am about to find out the square root. So into 17, now 34 can be written as 2 into 17. Now you can see pairs are being created. Pair of 3 and pair of 17 is created. So this is 3 into 17 into under root of what? 18 into 2, under root of 36. So this is what? 3 into 17 into 6. So 17 3s are 51, and 51 into 6, 306. So as you can see, this is the correct option. So please, analyze these tricks, these small fundas. While finding square root, you need not multiply, because if things are already given in product form, then you need not waste your time in multiplying them again. Let's move to the next question. The sides of a triangle are so and so. Find the length of the perpendicular from opposite angle on the greatest side. And how can you solve this? First you find out the area, then you use the formula half into base into height. Then you will get the answer. So I insist that you first give it a try, and then we will try to solve this together. So first give this a try yourself. Pause the video, try. Okay, now, so let's apply Heron's formula. So before applying Heron's formula, let's find out the semi-perimeter. So semi-perimeter is sum of all the three sides divided by 2. So what does this actually comes out to be? So 25 plus 39, so 64. So 64 plus 56, 120. So 120 by 2 is equal to 60. So semi-perimeter comes out to be equal to 60. So area as per the formula is what? S into S minus A into S minus B into S minus C whole under root. So S is what? 60. So let's do that. So area is equal to under root of S is 60, S minus A. So 60 minus 25 is what? 35. S minus B, that means 60 minus 39 is what? 21 into S minus C. So 60 minus 56 is what? 4. So again, you have to create pairs. Some things are very visible. 35 and 20 both contain 7. So break them so that they create pairs. 60 can be written as 4 into 15, because so that 4 and 4 create pair. So 35 can be written as 7 into 5, 21 can be written as 7 into 3 into 4. So let me see what pairing has been done. So 4 has a pair, 7 has a pair, so this is what? 28. So 4 and 4 pairing is done, 7 and 7 pairing is done, into under root of 15 into 15. So 28 into 15. So 420. So the area comes out to be equal to 420. Now the question is, we don't have to find the area, we have to in fact find out the perpendicular from the opposite angle on the greatest side. So the greatest side is what? 56. So this is 56. This is the perpendicular on it, and we have already found out that the area of this particular triangle is what? 420. So let's give the value of the altitude to be equal to x. So half into base 56 into height, which is x, must be equal to 420. So 28 here. So from here you can see that x must be equal to 420 upon 28. So 420 and 28 both can be cancelled using 14. So 2 and 30. So x comes out to be equal to what? 15. So 15 meter. So for each type of question, you please go for the same method, same approach that you have just seen, because in certain cases it may look like that more than one formula is applicable, but of course two processes may not consume same amount of time. So as to save time, please use the same method, same formula, same approach that you have just seen me doing. So now let's move forward. Now let's understand the type of questions that are asked from the realm of isosceles triangle. So before we begin any further, as I already highlighted before you, that the best way to study isosceles triangle is to understand it in form of sum of two different right angle triangles. How? So let's see, let's understand that this is a isosceles triangle. These two sides are equal and this is the base. The only thing that you must understand from the domain of isosceles triangle are these facts. You already know that an isosceles triangle is a triangle such that two sides are equal, but the crucial things that you must now realize is that if you join this point, if you draw an altitude, so drawing an altitude means by default this base got divided into two equal parts, alright, because it is an isosceles triangle. So this part is actually identical to this part. That's why an isosceles triangle can be thought of being made of by adding two right angle triangles. So this is one right angle triangle. If you take its mirror image and add it to it, so then you get a isosceles triangle. So you first take a right angle triangle somewhat like this, take its mirror image and join them. Then the figure that you will get is what is an isosceles triangle. Now let's move to see the kind of questions that have been asked in previous years. So let's do that. Find the altitude to the side ABC of a triangle with side AB is equal to 20, AC is equal to 20 and BC is equal to 30. So let's draw the diagram to this. So this is the question. This is an isosceles triangle. This is 20, this is 20 and the base is 30. So what have we been asked to find? We have been asked to find the altitude to the side AC. So basically we have to find out this length, the altitude to side AC. That means let me name this as E. So we have to find out the length BE. So let's do that. Now see, triangle ADC, in triangle ADC, so DC is equal to BD because this entire length was 30, this entire length was 30, and since you have drawn the altitude, so this base got divided into two equal parts. So it now got divided into two equal parts, means this from here up till here, this much length is 15. So now in triangle ADC, by applying Pythagoras theorem, you can conclude that AD must be equal to under root of AC square minus DC square. So this comes out to be under root of 400 minus 225. So AD comes out to be equal to under root of 175. So this is 5 root 7 because 175 is equal to 25 into 7. So AD comes out to be equal to 5 root 7. Now what is the value of AC? Now understand, area of a triangle is equal to half into base into height. So area of this triangle from difference, taking different base and different height. So it means half into base BC into height AD must be equal to, if you change your perspective, if you take AC as the base, is equal to half into AC into BE. The triangle is same, the area has to be the same. What you have actually changed is your perspective, or you have just changed the base and altitude accordingly. So now you know what is the value of BC, you also know what is the value of AD, you also know what is the value of AC, so you have to calculate BE. So from here you can see that BE is equal to BC into AD divided by AC. So this is actually equal to BC. BC is what? 30 into AD. AD is what? 5 root 7 divided by AC. So AC is what? 20. So this comes out to be 7.5 root 7. So this is the correct answer. An acute angled isosceles triangle has two of its sides equal to 10 and 16. We have to find the area of the triangle. Now what is acute angle? How are we going to decode this? So acute angle triangle. So see, in a triangle, if three sides are denoted by A, B and C, so a triangle is acute angle triangle when C square, or the largest side, or better I simply write this, largest side whole square is less than the side 1 or the other side. So side 1 square plus side 2 square. So it's just like, you can think of like Pythagorean inequality. So if this relation holds, then I would say that whatever triangle we are referring to is a acute angle triangle. So we will see this in a bit detail in the next section. So for now you understand that if in any given triangle the three sides are denoted by ABC and C, assume C to be the largest side. So if you can say, or if you can observe that C square is less than A square plus B square, then you can conclude that this is a case of acute angled triangle. So now coming to the question. Now question says that the triangle that is being talked about or referred to is a isosceles triangle. So we know the two sides 10 and 16. Now the question is, what is the third side? Since it is isosceles, that means two sides have to be equal. So third side can either be 10 or 16. But we have also to keep in mind that whatever triangle you are coming up with has to be acute angled. So two possibilities. Third side can either be 10 or it can be 16. To let us check both these conditions. So if I am taking a triangle 10, 10, 16, is this acute? Or if I am taking the second case 10, 16, 16, is this acute or not? Let's verify this first. So take the greatest side. So 16 square, is this valid? Is this thing valid? So this is 16 square is, so this does not seem to be, is not valid. So this cannot be the sides of the triangle. 10, 10, 16 cannot be the sides of the triangle. So let's verify this. Is this valid? So of course this is valid. So the third side of the triangle, in order to keep the triangle acute angle, has to be 16. So you have concluded that these are the values of the three sides of the triangle. Now let's get down to business. Now let's find the area of the triangle. So how can you do that? So we have already seen a couple of examples. So now that we know the sides of the isosceles triangle, so we can easily calculate its area. So let's do that. Sides are 10, 16 and 16. So this is 16, this is 16, this is 10. So there are two ways. Either you can use the Heron's formula, or you can actually go for the Pythagoras. So let's use Heron's formula here, because numbers are pretty comfortable. So Heron's formula, semi-perimeter. So 16 plus 16 plus 10 upon 2. So this comes out to be 21. So as per Heron's formula, area is equal to under root of S into S minus A into S minus B. See, Heron's formula does not mean that it can be used only when all the three sides are different. It can be used for any given triangle. Heron's formula. A, B and C need not necessarily be different. That's why you can see I am using Heron's formula in case of isosceles triangle as well. So now what? S is equal to 21, A is equal to what? 16, B is equal to 16, C is equal to 10. So let's see what the area comes out to be. So S 21, S minus A, so 21 minus 16, 5, S minus B, so 21 minus 16, again 5. Now S minus C, so 20 minus 10. So this comes out to be equal to 10. So here it will be S minus C. So S minus C is what? 11. So this is 5 under root of 21 into 11. So 5 under root of 210 plus, so 231. So this answer, this option is the correct one. So basically there is not pretty much to be understood, from Pythagoras, isosceles triangle. So all these questions are related to this altitude type. The only thing that you have to understand, or you have to remember, is that if you draw an altitude, from the angle formed between the two equal sides, then that altitude also behaves like the median. That means it joins the other side exactly at the midpoint. So that is the only thing that you need to carry from the concepts of isosceles triangle. Now let's take another example. An isosceles triangle has a base of 6 and a height of 4. So what is the perimeter of the triangle? So let's see. So it has a base 6 and a height of 4, and it is isosceles as well. So it means this side is equal to this side. So when you see base, so by default the base is the non-equal side. So if this is 6, that means this 6 got divided into two equal parts, because height is what? Altitude. So if this is 90 degrees, so this base, which was 6, got divided into two equal parts. So if this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. So in triangle ABD, you can apply Pythagoras theorem. So in triangle ABD, AB we don't know, BD 3, AD 4. So AB will be equal to what? Under root of 4 square plus 3 square, so comes out to be 5. So AB is equal to 5. So from here to here this length is 5. Since it is isosceles, this must also be equal to 5. So what is the perimeter of the triangle? So perimeter of the triangle is sum of all the three sides. So 5 plus 5 plus 6. So 16 is the perimeter. Now let's move forward. A, B, C and B, C, D. A, B, C. So this one, as you can see, these markers have been drawn, and B, C, D are isosceles triangle. So find the size of angle BDE. So let's do that. So this is 66 degrees. This side is equal to this side. That means if this angle is X, this must also be equal to X. So let's first calculate the value of X. So 66 plus X must be equal to 180 degrees, because the sum of the three angles of any triangle is 180 degrees. So from here you can see that 2x is equal to how much? So 114 degrees. So from here x is 57 degrees. So this is 57. Similarly, this is what? 57. This is already given as 90 degrees. Now this is 90, as well as these two sides are equal. So if this is 90, then this must be 45 and this must be equal to 45. So look at this straight angle. So here in this straight angle, we already know that this is 57 degrees, this is 45 degrees. So what is the value of angle DBE? So angle DBE will be equal to 180 degrees minus the sum of these two angles, that means 57 degrees plus 45 degrees. So this comes out to be equal to 180 degrees minus 102 degrees. So this is actually equal to 78 degrees. So this much is 78 degrees. So if this is 78 degrees, so what must be this question mark? So question mark plus 78 degrees plus 90 degrees must be equal to 180 degrees, as these are the angles of a triangle. So from here the unknown angle is equal to 12 degrees. Now students, let's look at the geometry of equilateral triangles. So as you already know that equilateral triangle is a triangle having the magnitude or the length of all the three sides equal, and also all the three angles are equal as well. So it is basically a symmetrical triangle. Equilateral triangle is symmetrical. Now let us understand the geometry. So if the triangle is said to be equilateral, few things are pretty clear, that each of its angle is equal to 60 degrees. Now an equilateral triangle is also an isosceles triangle, though technically it is not a perfect isosceles triangle, but it has to also include the properties of isosceles triangle, because at least two sides are equal. So what does that mean? It means that if you draw an altitude, this, then the base gets divided into two equal parts. So now let us do the mathematics of this. So if one side is equal to A, so this is A, this is A. So now the base has got divided into two parts, A by 2 and A by 2. Now this H or altitude, let me name this P, this Q, this R, this S. So in triangle PRQ, if you apply Pythagoras theorem, then you can find the altitude or height of an equilateral triangle. You can give it the shape of a formula of an equilateral triangle. Will be equal to what? In terms of A, it will be equal to altitude or height h will be equal to under root of a square, because this side a square minus a by 2 whole square. So this comes out to be under root of 3 by 4 a square. So this is a by 2 into root 3. So this is a ready-made formula. You can use this as a ready-made formula, that altitude of an equilateral triangle is equal to root 3 by 2 into side, because a is the length of a side. So this can be taken as a available ready-made formula. Now let's see what else. Now you know the value of the altitude can be written as root 3 into side. So from this you can immediately find out another formula. You can create a formula for yourself. You can come up with a formula for yourself, and that formula is formula for area of an equilateral triangle. So area of an equilateral triangle will be equal to what? Half into base into height. So base is what? A. Height we just saw, root 3 by 2 times of a. So this is what? Root 3 by 4 a square. So this can also be used as a ready-made formula. So two formulas in case of a equilateral triangle. One is for height. So you can use these two formulas as ready-made, root 3 by 2a, and then area, root 3 by 4 a square. Okay, so now let's see a few solved. So now let's have a look at this question. So triangle PQT is an equilateral triangle. So while PQRS is a square, so find the measure of angle QRT. So which angle are we supposed to find? Angle QRT. That means this angle we are supposed to find. So first things first, what is given? It is given that PQT is an equilateral triangle. So equilateral triangle means this is 60 degrees. Similarly, this is also 60 degrees, because it is an equilateral triangle. And PQRS is a square. So PQRS being a square means this must be 90 degrees, because each corner of a square subtends an angle of 90 degrees. So this is 90, this is 60. That means in total this angle is equal to how much? 150 degrees in total. So this is 150 degrees, and we have to find out this angle. Now consider something. So QT is equal to QP. Why? Because they are sides of same equilateral triangle. Because they are sides of equilateral triangle, they are equal sides. Similarly, QP is equal to QR. Why? Because they are sides of same square, and hence they must be equal. So QP, this side, must be equal to QR, and QP is also equal to QT. So combining these two, you can see that QT is equal to QR. So if QT is equal to QR, so from here it means that this angle must be equal to this angle, because these two sides are equal. This side is equal to this side, so opposite angles. So angle QRT must be equal to angle QTR. So if I name it X, then what can I conclude? I can conclude that this is 150 degrees, this is X, so this is x and this is also x, and we have been asked to find out x. So let's do that. So 150 degrees plus x must be equal to 180 degrees. So from here x comes out to be equal to 15 degrees. Now let's move further. If the numerical value of the perimeter of an equilateral triangle is root 3 times the area of it, what is the length of each side of a triangle? So this time we will use standard formulas. So if one side is A, then perimeter, so what is given? Perimeter, this is what is given to us, that perimeter is root 3 times the area. This is given, and based on this information we have to find the length of one side. So perimeter will be equal to what? Sum of all the three sides. So a plus a plus a, 3a. So 3a is given to be equal to root 3 times into, what is the standard formula for area of an equilateral triangle? As we just discussed, it is root 3 by 4 into a square. So this is what is given, and we have to calculate a. So pretty simple, let's do that. So 3a is equal to root 3 into root 3 becomes 3. So 3a is equal to 3 by 4 a square. So 3 cancels, a and this power of a cancels. From here you can see that a is equal to 4 units. So this is the correct answer. Now let's see this one. So in the figure above, AB is equal to AD is equal to AE, so on and so forth. So each of these lengths is given to be equal to 1, and we have been asked to find what is the distance from A to C. So basically this information can be translated as that all these three triangles are equilateral triangles having each side equal to 1 unit long. So we have to find the distance between A and C. So if you enlarge this diagram, if you redraw this diagram properly, things will become clear immediately. See, so these both are equilateral triangles. So this is altitude of this triangle and this is the altitude for this triangle. So the length AC, this length AC is actually twice the length of, so length AC is twice the length of altitude of one triangle, isn't it? So twice the length of altitude of triangle, any triangle you can say ADB, and all these triangles are equilateral triangles, and you already have the ready-made formula to find the altitude. So 2 times of altitude. So what is the formula for altitude? Root 3 by 2 into side. So what is the value of side? It is 1 centimeter. So 2 into root 3 by 2 into 1 unit. So this comes out to be root 3. So root 3 is the answer. The next concept that one must be aware of is the concept of Pythagoras theorem. So we have already discussed the basic of this theorem, so you are very familiar of this. So let's get down to the concepts, let's get down to the solved example or the previous year questions that have been asked. So this is the first question. The sides of a right angled triangle are equal to the 3 consecutive numbers expressed in centimeters. So consecutive numbers. So when you talk about consecutive numbers, by default it has to be integer, consecutive. It cannot be real number, cannot be fraction. So the sides of a right angled triangle are 3 consecutive integers. What can be the area of such a triangle? So please remember this fact, the only 3 consecutive natural numbers which are Pythagorean triplet. What do you mean by Pythagorean triplet? 3 numbers A, B, C are said to be Pythagorean triplet if they, if they satisfy this condition, a square plus b square is equal to c square, or in other words, if the choice is such that they are the sides of a right angle triangle, then they are known as Pythagorean triplet. The only three, the only triplet consisting of three consecutive numbers is this 3, 4, 5. You must remember this fact. And this triplet is the basic triplet used to form the other Pythagorean triplets. For example, if you double this 6, 8 and 10, this also is a Pythagorean triplet. If you triple this, that means 9, 12 and 15, this is also a Pythagorean triplet. But when we talk about consecutive numbers, so this is the only triplet. Now, since this is the only triplet and we are talking about the Pythagoras theorem, that means we are referring to a right angled triangle. So, if this side is 3, this is 4, this is 5, then this is 90 degrees. So, what is the area? Area is equal to half into base. Base is what? 4. Height is what? 3. So, this is what? 6. So, this must be the answer. Now, let's move further. Okay, so in an equilateral triangle ABC, BD is drawn perpendicular to AC. So in an equilateral triangle, so let us draw an equilateral triangle first. So ABC, BD is drawn perpendicular to AC. So this thing is drawn perpendicular to, so this is D. Now what is BD square equal to? So let us see. So this can be done easily if you assume each side to be equal to A. So if AB is equal to A, BD is equal to how much? BD is equal to root 3 by 2A, because it is the altitude of the equilateral triangle. So therefore BD square will be equal to what? 3A square by 4. Now which of these options satisfy? I think this, let's give this a try, because this involves 3. So 3AD square. So AD is what? A by 2. So this is A by 2. So 3AD square. So 3AD square is equal to 3A by 2 whole square. So 3A square upon 4. So this is the option that fits the description. Now let's move to the next one. Which one of the following is a Pythagorean triple in which one side differs from the hypotenuse by 2 units? So one side differs the hypotenuse by 2 units. So let's see. Now let us see. Which one of the following is a Pythagorean triple in which one side differs from the hypotenuse by 2 units? So as I already told you that keep an eye on the basic most Pythagorean triplet 3, 4, 5. So this is the hypotenuse. So in this triplet itself you can observe that one side, that means 3 differs from the hypotenuse by 2 units. So sides being 3, 4 and 5. So 3 and 5 has that property. So which of these options depict 3, 4 and 5? So n being an integer. So 4n. So if you consider n to be equal to 1. So this is 3. This is 4, but this is not equal to 5. If you try to make this as 5, so n comes out to be 2. So this is 4, this is 8, this is 5, doesn't work. So 2n squared, 2n and 2n plus 1. So this, if you try to make this as 3, this as 4, so this doesn't becomes 5. So this also does not fit. What about this? So since this is the biggest one, if I try to make this as 5, that means I will have to assume n to be equal to 2. So if I assume n to be equal to 2, the sides come out to be 4, 3 and 5. Yes. So option D is the disguised description of 3, 4 and 5. So 3, 4 and 5 can be written in this manner. So now let's move to the next one. 3 consecutive integers form the length of a right angle triangle. How many set of 3 consecutive integers are possible? So as I already told you, the only possibility is this 3, 4 and 5. So only one possibility. Now this one, a 13-meter long ladder, when set against the wall of a house, reaches a height of 12 meter. So how far is the foot of the ladder from the wall? So a 13-meter long ladder, when set against the wall of a high house, reaches a height of 12. So let this be wall. So if this is wall, this is ladder. So the ladder is 13 meters long. So this is 13 meter. This is 90-degree wall. The height is 12. So how far is the foot of the ladder? So this distance we have to calculate. So let this be x. So applying Pythagoras theorem, you can easily conclude that x is equal to under root of 13 square minus 12 square. So 13 square minus 12, a square minus b square. So 13 plus 12 into 13 minus 12. So this is under root of 25, comes out to be equal to 5. Let's move to the next one. The length of a ladder is precisely equal to the height of the wall it is resting against. If the lower end of the ladder is kept on a stool of length 3 meter and the stool is kept 9 meter away from the wall and the upper end of the ladder coincides with the tip of the wall, then the height of the wall is equal to what? So let's draw a diagram first. So let's consider if PQ is the wall, P and Q is the wall, A and B is the stool. So stool is 3 meters high and PA is the ladder. So it is said that the length of the ladder, that means PA is equal to the height of the wall. This is already given. So I consider this both to be equal to x, and the stool is given to be equal to 3 meters high, and it is also known that the stool is kept 9 meters away from the wall. So this is 9. So this portion will be equal to x minus 3, this much. Sorry, this portion p, let me name it m. So pm is equal to pq minus mq is equal to pq minus ab, because mq is equal to ab. So this is equal to x minus 3. So in a triangle PMA, that means this triangle, this one, this triangle. So if you analyze all the three sides, PM is equal to x minus 3, PA is equal to x, and MA is equal to 9. So if you apply Pythagoras theorem here, so applying Pythagoras theorem here, I can say that x minus 3 whole square plus 9 square must be equal to x square. So let us solve the value of x. So x square plus 9 minus 6x plus 81 is equal to x square. So x square cancels. So 6x is equal to 90. From here you can see that x is equal to 15. So 15 meter is the answer. This is the correct answer. So let's move to the next problem. The sides of a triangular field are 41 meter, 40 meter and 9 meter. So look at the sides, 41, 40 and 9. So you will realize that this is a Pythagorean triplet. So Pythagorean triplet means 40 square plus 9 square is equal to 41 square. You can verify this. 1600 plus 81 is actually equal to 41 square. So this was simply a mean or a ploy to convey to you that the triangle that is being talked about is a right angle triangle. Now what? So the number of rose beds that can be prepared in the field, if each rose bed on an average needs 900 square centimeter space. So this entire triangle has to be filled with rose bed. So area of one rose bed is known to us. It is being asked that how many rose beds are required. So what is the total area of the triangle? So total area of the triangle is half into base into height. So this is the total area. So total area divided by area of a single rose bed. So divided by 900. So these many, but you see here, this is meter and this is square centimeter. So it's better if you bring all these units in conformity with each other. That means all the units have to be same, either all are meter or all are centimeter. So you can convert meter into centimeters, otherwise you will get the wrong answer. So half into base, base is what? 9 meter. So I will write 900 centimeter because 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. Similarly, the height is 40 meters. So I will write 40 into 100, that means 4000 centimeter. So this is the area of the triangle. So the question is how many rose beds are needed. So rose beds needed would be total area divided by the area of a single rose bed. So this divided by 900. So you can see answer comes out to be 2000. Half into 4000. So answer is 2000. So this is the correct answer. Now let's move further. The length of sides of a triangle are 3x, 4 under root y and 5 cube root of z. So if one of the angle is 90 degrees, then what are the minimum integral values of x, y and z respectively? So this question have been asked 2 seasons ago. So in first look, this looks a very complicated questions, and most of the students had told, we had a feedback. So most of the students told that they actually left this question, they skipped this question. But if you look at this question, it is very simple, very easy. What is being told to you that there is a triangle, its lengths are given in terms of variables, and it is told that one of the angle is 90 degrees. So basically they are telling to you that please apply Pythagoras theorem because the triangle is 90 degrees. So this is 90 degrees. The largest side 5 into cube root of z. The other two sides, this side 3x, this side 4 root y. Observe the numbers. Here was the gameplay. 3, 4, 5. This 3, 4, 5 themselves are Pythagorean triplet. So that was the key. That was what was to be observed. So 3, 4 and 5 themselves are Pythagorean triplet. It means x, root y and cube root of z must all be equal to 1, which means x must be equal to 1, y must be equal to 1, z must be equal to 1. So this was the correct answer, and trust you me, most of the students simply left this question, they ignored. But you see this, there was nothing to be solved. Now let's move to the next one. The perimeter of a right angle triangle is k times the shortest side. if the ratio of the other side to the hypotenuse is 4:5, then what is the value of K? What is the question? Let us understand first. So we know that there is a right angle triangle. So let's draw that first. The perimeter of the right angle triangle is K times the shortest side. So let this be the shortest side. So if this is the shortest side, let me denote it by S. And what else? If the ratio of other sides to the hypotenuse. So ratio of this two is 4:5. So ratio is given 4:5. Then why not I assume this to be 4, this to be 5? Then this will come out to be equal to 3. I'm not saying this is 4 centimeter. I'm saying this is 4 units. This is 5 units, and hence this will be equal to 3 unit. Why? Because 3, 4 and 5 are the Pythagorean triplets. They are well known Pythagorean triplets. So this triangle can be used as the dummy value to solve this question. Does this triangle fit the description given in the question or not? Yes, it does. So we can simply assume that we know what triangle you are talking about. So I can say to the question setter that though you have not told me which triangle, but now I think I know what triangle you are talking about, because 3, 4 and 5 satisfy the facts that you are telling to me. So now coming to the question, if the ratio, okay, now the question is the perimeter of the right angle triangle. So now what is the perimeter? If you will calculate the perimeter of this triangle, what will it come out to be? 3 plus 4 plus 5, so this comes out to be 12. So the perimeter of the right angle triangle is K times the shortest side. So 12 is equal to K times K into the shortest side. So shortest side is 3. So from here you can see that K is equal to 4. Nothing to be solved. If you will go for equations or all that method, it will take time. But these kind of questions, they can simply be solved by taking dummy values. Now let's move further. A ladder is resting against a vertical wall and its bottom is 2.5 meter away from the wall. So if it slips down 0.8 meter, then its bottom will move away from the wall by 1.4 meter. So what is the length of the ladder? So let's see. This again is a case of Pythagorean triangle, because ladder is resting against a wall. So this is a very famous way to create a Pythagorean triangle, because a wall is vertical, ladder when slants on it takes the role of the hypotenuse. So let's see how can we solve this. So a ladder is resting against a vertical wall. So there is a vertical wall against which a ladder is resting. That means it's time for you to apply Pythagoras theorem. It is a very big hint. Ladder resting against a wall. So, and its bottom is 2.5 meters away from the wall. So in first case, this is what is being conveyed. Wall is there, ladder is there, and the foot of the ladder is 2.5 meters away from the wall. So if it slips 0.5 down the wall, that means a ladder, if this tip of the ladder comes down, it slips. So this is what is being said, that this slept downwards by 0.8 units or 0.8 meters, because of which there was a lateral movement of 1.4 meters. So if these are the facts, from these facts we have to find the length of the ladder. So let's draw the diagram properly. Let's enlarge and draw this, and then we will see how this. So now let's see what is the actual meaning of the question. So there is a wall, there is a ladder. In first instance, the foot of the ladder, that means this is first instance. So this was at a distance of 2.5 meters. Let the height of the wall, the total height of the wall, be h, the initial height. Okay, so let the length of the ladder be equal to L. So let's name these triangles, triangle ABC, and then let this be D, this be A. So in triangle ABC represents the original situation. So in triangle ABC, I can say that h square plus 2.5 whole square is equal to L square. Now it has slipped down by 0.8. So it means, so if we talk about triangle DBE, so in triangle DBE, you can say that DB will be equal to H minus 0.8. Why? Because it is already said that the ladder or the tip of the ladder has slipped downwards by 0.8. So the height of the tip of the ladder has come down, hence H minus 0.8. Now similarly, BE will be equal to what? 2.5 meter plus 1.4. Why? Because of this slipping, this ladder has moved further away from the foot of the wall. So this much is 1.4. So this total length is 2.5 plus 1.4. So in triangle DBE, you can say that DB square plus BE square is again equal to L square, because the length of the ladder hasn't changed. So DB is what? So DB is H minus 0.8. So H minus 0.8 whole square plus what is BE? So BE is 2.5 plus 1.4. So leave this as it is, 2.5 plus 1.4 whole square. This is equal to L square. So in two different situations, you have the value of L square. So L square is equal to this much. Same L square can also be written in this manner. So from these two, it can be concluded that H square, this expansion of L square, that means H square plus 2.5 whole square must be equal to this expansion of L square. So this is H minus 0.8 whole square plus 2.5 plus 1.4 whole square. That's why I have said you to leave it as it is, because 2 whole square and 2.5 whole square, there are chances that terms will get cancelled. Had you added that, the cancellation wouldn't have taken place. So that's why. So now let's cancel the terms. So H square plus 2.5 whole square is equal to H square plus 0.8 whole square minus 2AB. So minus 2 into H into, so this is 1.6 H plus, now let's expand this. So this is like A plus B whole square. So A square plus B square plus 2AB. So 2 into 2.5, that is 5. 5 into plus 7. So this is it. So terms are going to get cancelled. This and this both will get cancelled. So from here, what can be said? 0.8 whole square is what? 0.64 plus 1.4 whole square is what? 1.96 plus 7 is equal to, so this minus 1.6x will go that side and become positive. So 9.6 is equal to 1.6h. So from here h comes out to be equal to 9.6 upon 1.6, which is equal to 6. So the initial height comes out to be equal to 6. So if you have the value of h, you have the value of h here, came out to be equal to 6. You can substitute this value here. You will get the value of L square, and then from L square you can calculate the value of L. So let's do that. So we have just calculated that h, or the initial height, is 6. So we have just done that. And we also know that h square plus 2.5 whole square is equal to L square. So from here you can calculate the length of the ladder. So L is equal to under root of h square, that means 6 square plus 2.5 whole square. So 6 square is what? 36. So 2.5, so 6.25. So this is 42.25. So you will realize that 4225 is what? This is 65 whole square. So under root of 42.25 is what? 6.5. So this must be the correct answer. Now let's move to the next one. A tree broke at a point but it did not separate. So a tree broke at a point, so a tree must be standing vertically before it broke down. So a tree was standing vertically, but it broke down at a point, but the tree did not separate. Its top touched the ground at a distance of 24 meters from its base. So it broke in such a way. Suppose this was the intact tree, so it broke. So the upper portion will now fall down on the ground. So this is what they are trying to say. And this fell down at such a point that this gap is what? 24 units from its base. If the point where it broke be at a height 7 meters from the ground, so if this is 7, this is 24. So what is the total height of the tree? To find the total height of the tree, you first need to find the length of this hypotenuse. So let's name it h, hypotenuse. So h is equal to under root of 24 square plus 7 square. So 24 square is how much? 476 plus 7 square is how much? 49. So this comes out to be equal to how much? 525. So this is how much? 25. So the broken portion, this portion, this part is 25, whereas 7 is standing intact. Therefore total height of tree, total height before the tree broke must have been 25 plus 7. So 32. So now let's move to the next one. The sides of a triangle are in geometric progression with common ratio r less than 1. If the triangle is a right angle triangle, then r square is given by what? So we have to find r square. So let's see. So the sides of the triangle are in geometric progression. So let the sides be a, ar and ar square. So these are the sides of a right angled triangle. The common ratio is less than 1. So please understand the significance of that. So it is given that the common ratio is less than 1. It means if you multiply r with something, let's suppose r is equal to half. So if a is equal to 5, so if you think of ar, so ar will be what? 2.5 only. So if you multiply, it will become smaller and smaller. So the biggest side or the largest side will be this, and the smallest side will be this. So now if they are the sides of a right angle triangle, that means this must be the hypotenuse, this must be the greatest side. So I can say that a square must be equal to AR whole square plus AR square whole square. So if you take A square as common, I can say that 1 is equal to R square plus R to the power 4. So we have to find the value of R square. So let R square be equal to A. So we can say that 1 is equal to A plus A square, or else A square plus A minus 1 is equal to 0. And we have to find the value of A, because we don't have to find R, we have to find R square. So from here, if you will solve, the root of this quadratic equation will be minus b, that means minus 1, plus minus b square minus 4ac, that means plus 4 here, by 2. So this comes out to be minus 1 plus minus root 5 by 2. But since we are talking about triangle, so sides of the triangle cannot be negative. So this negative sign is not acceptable. If we accept this negative sign, it will become negative, and side of a triangle cannot be negative. So the answer is minus 1 plus root 5 by 2, or in other words, you can write root 5 minus 1 upon 2. So a ladder 5 meter long is placed in a room to reach a point 4.8 meter high on a wall, and on turning the ladder over to the opposite side of the wall without moving the base, it reaches a point 1.4 meter high. So what is the breadth of the room? So what is the question? Question is, suppose this is the room. So if you place the ladder this way, this ladder reached at a height of 4.8. But if you turn the ladder to the other side, so it reaches only 1.4 meter high. Okay, the length of the ladder is 5. So based on this fact, we have to find the breadth of the room. So let's see how we can do that. So dear students, so let us understand the scenario with the help of this diagram. It was switched, the wall was switched. So if this is A, this is A dash, or better still I can call it C. Let this be P, this be Q. So in first case, the height that the ladder attained was 4.8 units. And the length of the ladder was 5 units. So in the second case, the height that the ladder attained was what? It was 1.4. So based on this fact is given to us, and based on this we have to calculate the breadth of the room. So what will be the breadth of the room? Let us see. Breadth of the room will be equal to, if you look at this base carefully, so it will be equal to, what? PB plus DQ. Now applying Pythagoras theorem in triangle APB, PB can be written as under root of 5 square minus 4.8 whole square. Similarly, BQ can be written as, again this will be equal to 5 because the ladder is same, the length of the ladder won't change. So 5 square minus 1.4 whole square. So if you'll solve this, see, I'll give you a tip. Don't solve this straight away, because this kind of calculation comes easier if you apply algebra, sleight of algebra to it. Because you see this in the format A square minus B square, same for this. So this under square thing can be written as A plus B, that means 9.8 into A minus B, that means 0.2, plus same here A plus B, that means 6.4, A minus B, that means 3.6. So you see 9.8, so 98. If you remove the decimal, similarly if you remove the decimal here, this is what it becomes. So 98 into 2, so this is 196 by 100. Now 64 and 36 both are perfect square. So 64, 8, 36 square root 6, 100 square root 10. So this is 196 square root is what? 14. So 14 by 10 plus 48 by 10. So this is how much? 48 plus 14 comes out to be 62 by 10 is equal to 6.2 meters. So answer will be equal to 6.2 2 meters. So now let's move to the next one. The hypotenuse of a right angled triangle is 10 centimeters and its area is 24 centimeters square. So let us see what is already given. So now the hypotenuse of a right angled triangle is 10 centimeters and its area is 24 centimeters square. So if the shorter side is halved, so if this shorter side is halved and the longer side is double, the new hypotenuse becomes. So see what the situation or the given information is. So let's suppose this is a right angle triangle. So this is 10, let this be x, this be y, this is 90 degree. So the area is said to be 24 centimeter. That means half into x into y, half into base into height is given to be equal to 24. So from here x, y is equal to 48. Also x square plus y square will be equal to 10 square. So x square plus y square is equal to 100. So think of two numbers which satisfy this criteria. 8 and 6. These are common Pythagorean triplets. 8, 6. So 8, 6, 48. So this is 8. This is 6. Now things are becoming clearer. Now what is said? If the short side is halved, that means short side 6. So if 6 becomes 3 and longer side is doubled. So longer side becomes double. That means 8 becomes 16. So what is the new hypotenuse? What will happen to the hypotenuse? So now new hypotenuse will be under root of 16 square plus 3 square is equal to under root of 196 plus, so 16 is what, 16 square is what, under root 256 plus 9, so under root of 265. So this is the correct answer. Now let's have a look at this one. ABC is a triangle right angled at C as shown in the figure. So which one of the following is correct? So the other thing that you need to take care of is that the fact that this angle is 90 degrees. So this angle is 90 degree. So how to solve such questions? So I insist again and again that if options are quite different, you can take dummy values. So what do I mean? You can take all these sides to be equal to 1, 1, 1, 1 and then see what happens. So AP is equal to 1. Fine. AC will be equal to 2. So this triangle, now the larger triangle has become this of length 2 into 2. So this is the midpoint and this is also the midpoint. I have taken general values. I have generalized this. Nothing is mentioned. So if nothing is mentioned, that means whatever you assume will have no implication on the answer. So you can take a dummy values. So now you can see what happens. Now check option by option. AQ. So AQ square. So AQ square is what? 2 square plus 1 square, that means 5. So AQ square is 5. What is AB square? So AB square will be 2 square plus 2 square, that means 4 plus 4, 8. So what is BP square? So BP square again will be equal to 5. What is PQ square? So PQ square, this square will be 1 plus 1, 2. So this does not fit. 13 is not equal to 7, though this is not the correct answer. Now let's move forward. AQ square is 5. PQ square we have already calculated 2. AB square 8. BP square 5. So this again is not valid. Now coming to this one, AQ square we have calculated 5. BP square we have calculated 5. AB square we have calculated 8. PQ square we have calculated 2. So wait a minute. This satisfies 5 plus 5, 10. 10 is equal to 10. So this satisfies. So I am not ruling this out. I am not saying this is the correct answer, but I am saying that this may be the correct answer. Now let's move to the remaining option. So aq square, that means 5 ap square. So what is the value of ap square? So ap square is what? 1, because ap is 1. So 5 plus 1 is this equal to bk square. So we have no idea about what this bk square is, plus kq square. So this is not the right answer for sure. As you can see, option C has already given us the correct answer. So now let's move forward. So ABC is a right angled triangle with AC as its hypotenuse. So this is A, this is C. So AC is the hypotenuse, that means right angle is at angle B. Then which of the following is correct? So it is already evident that AC square, this is known to us that AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. This is known to us. Then why don't we take some dummy values? We can take some dummy values 3, 4 and 5 and let's see that which of these is valid. Is this a valid assumption or not? Yes, it is, because any right angle triangle is mentioned here, nothing specific. So now let us see. Let us see AC cube. That means which of these is valid? Let's check the first option. Is this valid? Is what I am writing, is this valid? Can I say that 125 is less than 27 plus 64? Definitely not. So this is wrong to say. Can I say this? So if this is wrong, this has to be correct. So I'm not ruling this out. Now let me come to this. So again, this is wrong. So A and C have been proved wrong because of this dummy value. So C is also wrong. So what about B and D? Either B can be correct or D can be correct. So now the confusion is whether it will be greater than or it will be greater than equal to. Now understand, AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. Then how can AC cube be equal to AB cube plus B cube? Both things cannot be correct at same time. So this equal to thing is ruled out. So this is the correct answer. So now let's move further.